Welcome back to Pigskins and Points, your go-to podcast for all things NFL football. I'm your host, TJ Swinson. Tune in each week as we cover topics such as recent games, player stats, hot takes, and big picture storylines. If you love the game, this is your go-to podcast for everything NFL. It's game time. Let's huddle up. All right, welcome back to Pigskins and Points. This is the fourth episode, and today is Tuesday, February 11th. And today joining us, we have the one and only Sam Powers. Sam, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me, TJ. This is a great experience.
Yeah, let's get it going. So just to start off, how are we thinking about the Super Bowl? Obviously, it was a big game. You're going in expecting the Chiefs.
Honestly, didn't like it. I kind of one of the worst Super Bowl experiences in recent history. Immediately, Eagles coming out. There was that first drive, and then got stuffed. A.J. Brown, offensive pass interference. You're like, all right, that was their one chance. They messed up. Now it's Chiefs go.
Yep.
Chiefs didn't do anything. And then you're like, well, that's kind of weird. Maybe this defense actually has something, because all the pregame speech was about the Eagles defense.
Right.
It was all about, as you've seen maybe on TikTok or online, the whole thing is like how to stop Mahomes, get pressure with 3.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, here's the cheat code to win the Super Bowl. A couple of years ago, it's like, get the best quarterback in the league, get the best running back. No, get the best offensive line, defense, running back, one of the best wide receivers, one of the most stacked teams in history,
right.
Which is the only difference between their team this year and 2 years ago is, I'd say maybe a little bit of better receiving core, but Saquon Barkley.
Right.
Their defense is kind of the same quarterback. He's matured a little bit and gotten a little better, but same O-line. And they had Jason Kelce a couple years ago,
right.
And that was when the tush push was really, really good.
Yeah.
This year it was only I think I saw it was 70 or 80% effective or something,
right,
compared to the 92.
Right. People are getting used to it, starting to learn from it.
Well, it wasn't even you get used to it. People knew it was coming a couple years ago. It's just they had a new center. Once Jason Kelce retired, it just went downhill.
Yeah.
Because he was, I don't know if you ever saw it, dude. The dude was 3 inches off of the ground every tush push and just genuinely just moving people. The dude's 5'8" or something and just gets lower than everyone else. People would genuinely try and get lower than him, and it was impossible. And he's also kind of an idiot, so he'd lead with his head. So if you were to beat him, you'd have to go low and just literally go low head to head,
right,
which I don't think anyone was up for.
No.
And then they tried jumping, and jumping honestly didn't do anything.
Right, wasn't it against the Commanders that I can't remember who it was? He tried jumping it 4 times.
Dude is jumping at joy right there. The refs had to announce,
yep,
if they go offsides one more time, we are legally gonna give them a touchdown.
Yep.
Which I don't know if it ever happened, but that was
insane.
funny. That was that game was terrible.
Right.
I wanted the Commanders to win there.
Mm-hmm.
No, it wasn't even close.
Right.
Jaden Daniels had a legacy game. Crazy good game.
Mm-hmm.
Yet, their defense let up whatever it was, 40, 45 points.
Mm-hmm.
And then same thing with the Chiefs. You thought the Chiefs were out of it and weren't scoring, but they put up 21, 22 points.
Mm-hmm.
That's not outrageous to say you should be in a game, but their defense letting up 40. Maybe it's not the defense, because obviously the Chiefs defense is very good and has been very good all year and keeping them in a lot of games.
Yeah.
The Chiefs didn't score over 21 points. I think it was 10 out of the 16, 17 games or something like that.
Yeah.
So,
and the amount of close games that they had, 1-score games that they had during the season.
It was 6 in a row. It was against the Bears. Remember that blocked kick against the Bears?
Mm-hmm.
They had a late flag against, oh God, what was it? The Jets? No, it wasn't the Jets.
No, they didn't play the Jets this year.
But I remember there was 3 or 4 games in a row. It was the Broncos.
Yes.
I think 2 weeks in a row they had blocked kicks.
Yeah.
Genuinely 2 weeks in a row.
Insane.
And it was every single game, even against bad teams. It was insane how close every game was and how they would eke away. You can't have that's the thing. Maybe you can say it's they're a good team and they find ways to win, which I do understand.
Yeah.
But I think the main reason of why they eke out in those games is because the bad teams are so nervous and can't even believe that they're in the game with them, and then they start freaking out and make mistakes letting people get through to block a kick, or whatever, just get nervous. Whereas the Chiefs they have experience in that era of
they're used to it,
of being in close games and knowing that they're gonna win and have that kind of confidence. So the other team is they're gonna step up while the other team is gonna get in that moment and fumble.
Yep.
And I mean, that just kind of happened all season, which was really annoying to watch. Everyone wanted them to lose, and then they kept winning. Were they 9-0?
Yeah, it was insane.
Yeah.
The Jets are moving on from Aaron Rodgers. It's finally his time to go. What are you thinking on? What are you thinking about that?
I mean, it's kind of funny that they genuinely recreated the Packers team on the Jets. 2018 Packers or whatever.
Allen Lazard,
Devontae Adams.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was something
Insane.
That was just funny.
Yeah.
And they kind of realized like, hey, that team would have been good 6 years ago.
Yep.
Let's probably not do that in 2024. Even though Devontae Adams is good, what's his contract? Is he still on the Jets?
No, it was a 1-year thing. So they're looking. I hope they look to re-sign him. But I know he might.
Money on the Jets.
No, he didn't. But I think his main point was he wanted to be there because it was with Rodgers. So I'm hoping that they re-sign him. He's a great weapon to have. But then again, you have Garrett Wilson, who was kind of saying like if Aaron Rodgers stays, like I want out. So I'm glad. I would have rather have gotten rid of Aaron Rodgers, and I'm glad we did because Garrett Wilson.
He's also not very he's not getting you guys anywhere.
No, he's not. Past 2 years, he hasn't done a thing. And obviously, he got hurt his first year. But
he was there to win now. He was a win now kind of purchase.
Yep.
And your team is still in a little bit of a rebuild. I want to call it your team. Still a little bit of a rebuild. So having a 40-something-year-old isn't going to help.
And they were titled as like a playoff contention team at the start of the year.
They had good Super Bowl odds 2 years ago.
Absolutely.
Even this year, it wasn't terrible.
Absolutely.
But I mean, the dude did nothing for New York. It's kind of just one of these things you're going to look back in 20 years and be like, oh, yeah, he was on the team.
Right.
I mean, when you talk about freak athletes, I mean, I just say that and automatically, Megatron comes to mind, Calvin Johnson.
Right.
Beast. It's dudes like that kind of just, it's kind of like basketball these days, NBA. They get these, European, just freaks of nature. Kind of like, Wemby or Giannis. Luka, all these guys.
Right.
I mean, especially Wemby. Dude's, 7 feet tall, bone-dry skinny.
Right.
It just kind of reminds me of these guys that just, are completely different than everyone else. You look at them, and they're just not the same as some normal player.
Right.
Darius Slay against Calvin Johnson is not fair.
Right. No.
And I'm pretty sure they were on the team at the same time, I think, a while back. I think probably Darius Slay's rookie year or something.
Yeah, something like that. So, all right. Now we are getting into the start, bench, cut section of the podcast. Rules are very simple. I give you 3 players. You got to tell me which one you're going to start, which one you're going to bench, and which one you're going to cut.
Hit me.
First 3, Aaron Donald, Nick Bosa, Micah Parsons, all in their prime. We're just going off pure skill.
We're not going nickel,
no, just pure skill.
Pure skill-wise, we're going to definitely go start Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Donald.
Sorry, that's on me. Sorry.
Good.
I'm thinking about the next 2 because that one's such an obvious. Start Aaron Donald in their prime, and we're saying, is this for a franchise or is it just for one game?
One game.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm gonna go Micah Parsons here.
Okay.
Just because the dude is a lot, I think, faster and gets off the ball better than Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa can get in there and mess shit up, but
I would agree with that. Micah Parsons got that.
I think Micah Parsons just has that and has kind of that X factor that Nick Bosa doesn't. Nick Bosa's gritty. Dude can get involved, but I think just let's say 4th and 3. It's a quick pass play. I think Micah Parsons is getting to the quarterback and pressuring him better than Bosa could.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously Aaron Donald, that's not even a question.
No, he's just a beast.
Yeah.
All right. Next, we'll go quarterbacks, and we'll go all during their prime. So we'll go some older guys here: Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, or Matt Ryan.
Honestly, Matt Ryan at 1.
Really?
I'm going to say Matt Ryan at 1.
Really?
The dude's 2018 MVP run was one of the best things I've ever seen. Okay. When he took him to the Super Bowl, he was unstoppable. When he was paired with Julio Jones, he was unstoppable. You could say A-Rod. Obviously, A-Rod's very good, and then Russell Wilson's benched. Where Russell Wilson's cut, A-Rod benched, Matt Ryan. In prime condition, Matt Ryan was the man. He was dude, I mean, the dude got a 28-3 lead on Tom Brady. I mean, we don't talk about the second half, but
that's fine. It's just perfect.
That season was completely outshined by blowing the 28-3.
Right.
Because it was one of the best quarterback seasons in history. He was insane. He was so dominant. Every single game, lighting people up. Easily got to the Super Bowl. like he was a complete, like he was the man.
He was a beast.
He was a complete beast. And
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, like, he was obviously very good. I mean, the great thing is about him is he can also run back in his prime and has an absolute cannon of an arm. But I just feel like in his prime, he even was still like kind of a little like just loosey-goosey, like with the ball.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I get what you're saying.
still in his prime, threw a lot of picks. Started yelling at his teammates, and like I just never really liked the dude.
That's fair. I can't say I like.
And Matt Ryan is a complete leader.
Yep.
In that, like he is a leader.
Yeah.
He is a leader.
Yep. All right, and then last one here, we'll go wide receivers: Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, and Devontae Smith. We'll say like
a little Ohio State guys.
Right. We'll go like past 3 years. We'll say
past 3 years. Yeah, I got 2 Ohio States and Alabama, dude. I gotta say, Garrett Wilson at 1, better route runner, better hands. I'll say Devonta Smith at 2. He's just the guy that's gonna blaze past you, and then Chris Olave at 3 as the cut. Just because anyone you have paired with Garrett Wilson, like Garrett Wilson's gonna run a crisp route. He's gonna get open. He has good hands, sticky. Like he's just kind of has that X factor to him. Chris Olave is, he's also never had a good quarterback to him, so I can't really knock him for that. But he just I just don't feel like I'm like seeing too many like routes where he's just getting open, and if the play's not like ran for him to get open and get the ball, that he doesn't get open. Whereas like Devonta Smith, like he'll get open on a quick out route or a slant or something. Whereas I don't think Olave can like that.
Yeah. All right. Well, Sam, thank you for coming on the podcast. That's going to do it for today.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Pigskins and Points. I hope you got some solid insights to stay on top of the game. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss a new episode. And if you got any questions or hot takes, email us at pigskinsandpoints@gmail.com, and we'll talk it out next time. Until then, it's game time. Let's huddle up.